to see you. Welcome to Legends of Jazz. I'm Ramsey Lewis. The blues, born in the South from the spirituals and work songs, the blood and the tears of African slaves, the blues lies at the root of just about all American music. This much is true. Without the blues, there would be no jazz. W.C. Handy came out of Memphis and brought the blues to mainstream American music. In 1917, the first jazz record ever made was, in fact, a blues song, Livery Stable Blues by the original Dixieland Jazz Band. Many artists kept one foot in the blues and the other in jazz. Like Bessie Smith, the Empress of the Blues. And Sippy Wallace, Ma Rainey, and of course, Alberta Hunter. Then came Robert Johnson, a giant figure in music who influenced everything from blues to rock to jazz. And Lady Day, the great Billie Holiday. She could sing the blues, but she was also one of the great jazz divas. The big band sound drew heavily from the blues. Just listen, well, to Duke Ellington or Count Basie. In the 40s and 50s, a crop of blues masters arose in Chicago and Detroit, like Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Willie Dixon, and John Lee Hooker. The blues kept moving in new directions due to artists like Ray Charles, B.B. King, and Joe Williams. And so many other jazz greats like Miles Davis, Horace Silver, Cannonball Adderley, Sonny Stitt, Hank Crawford proved the never-ending influence of blues on the jazz world. With us in the studio are two blues artists who are credited with, well, actually revitalizing the genre and introducing the blues to a whole new audience. Grammy Award winners Robert Craig, Keb Mo, welcome to our show.
Glad to be here.
Good to be here. Good to have you here. So here we are, two blues musicians on a show called Legends of Jazz. All right, let me start by asking both of you, what do you think jazz has taken from the blues and vice versa?
Well, I think that jazz has taken the roots from the blues. I've always heard it said that in order to play jazz, you have to be able to play blues.
What do you
I think blues informs you emotionally, and jazz is more intellectual, but the blues brings you back to the heart.
You're playing what you feel.
Yeah, you're playing what you feel.
There's another common denominator I'd like to throw in the ring. What about improvisation?
There's a style of improvisation to make it jazz and a certain style of improvising to make it blues.
There's a borderline in there, you know?
The two, kind of like the sister and a brother, separated at birth, I guess, maybe.
I listen to a lot of jazz. There's a lot of blues in it, And it makes it accessible for somebody like me to grab a hold and get a start.
Keb Mo, multiple Grammy winner, musician, producer, writer. Talk about your music. How'd you get started?
I started on the trumpet in the 5th grade, and then I got kicked out of the band for playing trumpet. I got kicked out, and then I got a guitar. Yeah.
And then they didn't kick you out when you...
They couldn't kick me out because they didn't have a guitar in the band anyway, so I was on my own. So, and then I played steel drums most of my teenage life, from 12 to 18, calypso music.
Calypso.
I played,
So where did you pick up calypso music from?
Well, I lived in Compton, and the only guy that had been taught by the people from Trinidad to make steel drums lived on my block.
Okay.
And then he taught me calypso, and I learned how to play all the steel drums, and I learned how to play the timbales and the bongos and everything else they had laying around.
So you didn't start out in the blues. And when did blues grab you and say, here's the way I'm going?
Blues, I came to the blues very late. I had no identity as a musician early on. I came to the blues in my mid-30s, really. I was playing, and I had a record out called Rainmaker, which is on Casablanca, and it flopped. It sold dozens of copies.
Dozens?
Dozens of
It
copies.
went aluminum, huh?
Went paper. Yeah, so after that, pretty much that career was over.
Uh-huh.
And I started completely from scratch, and I evolved. Started with BB, and I started going back till I ended up at people like Mississippi Fred McDowell, Robert Johnson, and the old real gut bucket.
You've obviously studied the roots of blues, and because you've referred to some of those artists.
Yeah,
Why is that music special to you?
Because there's no pretense in the blues. And when I heard Big Bill Broonzy play and those guys in that, all I heard was a guy sitting out after he had picked cotton all day, playing some music because he didn't have no radio and going to dance. And there was no Hollywood. There was no big city in it. It was all just raw, just this is what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I was very much moved by that because I hadn't really ever thought like that. I hadn't really looked at music like that. You know, I only looked at it like, how can I get some money? Where's my next gig coming from? What can I play to make me some money? And I kept thinking about that. And that never worked. It was always when I was truly inspired, things would happen.
Robert Johnson, King of the Delta Blues.
Yes, sir.
Means a lot to you.
Yes, sir.
Why?
I don't really know why. But there's something, maybe it's because he died young. He's like the Marilyn Monroe of the blues or something. I don't know. He died young and he never got old. But there's something about Robert Johnson's music that inspires the blues and music in a way that no one else does. And when I listen to him, I hear that. I hear a call.
Do you feel something coming on?
Yes, sir, I do feel something coming
We'd
on.
love to hear you play for us. Would you play for us?
I'm going to play Robert Johnson. So I'm going
Okay.
to play one of his songs, one of my favorites of his. It's called Love in Vain.
Kepmo, ladies and gentlemen, let him hear it. Love in Vain.
All right. And I followed her to the station with a suitcase in my hand. Well, I followed that girl down to the station with a suitcase in my hand. You know it's hard to tell when all your love's in vain, all my love's in vain. And the train rolled into the station. I looked her in the eye. Well, Lord, the train rolled into the station. I looked that girl straight in the eye. You know, I felt so lonesome, but all I could do was cry. All my love's in vain. And the train left the station. There were 2 lights on behind. Well, the train left the station. 2 lights on behind. You know the blue line, it was my blues. And the red light, it was my mind. All my love's in vain. Oh, well, it made oh, Willie Mae. You know it's hard to tell when all your love's in vain, all my love's in vain. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Robert Cray, my goodness, another multiple Grammy winner. You've got 5 of them.
5.
Yeah. What first brought you to music?
Well, my parents had great music, and it included people like Ray Charles, to Sonny Stitt, to John Lee Hooker, to Bobby Bland, to Sam Cooke, when I was 15, 16 years old, the blues thing started happening with a bunch of my guitar playing buddies. And these cats were listening to Buddy Guy and B.B. King and Magic Sam and Howlin' Wolf. You know, a guy by the name of Muddy Waters. These cats were the coolest cats in the world. So we became immersed in this kind of music. And in 1969, I got an opportunity to see one of my favorites, Albert Collins, play guitar.
And you were still in high school.
Our class voted him in. He'd been playing a lot around the area. And I fortunately had the opportunity to walk up to Albert after the show and said, thank you for coming to our school and, you know, playing for high school graduate. He says, young man, you play guitar? I said, yes. He said, well, keep it up. That was 1971. Yeah. 1976, we were playing together as his backup band.
Oh, really?
With Albert.
You were in heaven.
Yeah. We did an album together here in Chicago. It's called Showdown with Albert Collins and Johnny Copeland. And I was a young guy, of course. Johnny and Albert had known one another since their days back in Houston in the 50s. We just went in and we did this session. Really? And did the record in a couple nights, you know.
And didn't that album win a Grammy? Or
that album won a Grammy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Some of the greatest music was on-the-spot music. We talk about Miles Davis's Kind of Blue album. He came to the session with just some sketches of the songs.
You know, the formulas don't always work. It's when you come in with the intentions of just playing out of your soul and just being there in the moment.
Right.
I think that's kind of a metaphor that goes beyond music, it goes to life. Mm-hmm. You know, just to let things happen.
Wise words.
Teaches you that, you know?
Do you feel like playing the guitar?
Yeah, I can play guitar a little bit.
You feel like it? What's on your mind?
We're gonna do My Last Regret.
Robert Cray, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
One last time, and I'll be free. One last time, you'll have your hooks in me, 'cause I'm about to lose it, my force of habit. I wanna see you burn all the way down. I wanna see your ashes all over the ground. That I will know that I can't forget about my last regret. The price is too high for what you're giving, so I'll stop being the fool, go on living. One is not enough, two is too much for me. I wanna see you burn all the way down. I wanna see your ashes all over the ground. Then I will know that I can't forget about my last regret. No more suffering, no more sorrow. Live for today, I'll be here tomorrow. Burn all the way down. I wanna see your ashes all over the ground, then I'll know that I can't forget about my last regret. No more suffering, no more sorrow. Live for today, I'll be here tomorrow. My regret, my regret. My regret.
Man, thank you. Beautiful. People refer to you all as the saviors of the blues. You think the blues needs saving?
I don't think the blues needs saving. I think the blues gonna holds up on its own just fine.
You feel the same way?
Yeah, I do. I mean, you know, we play the music because we love it, you know.
It would be terrible to have both of you all and you not play together, would you?
Well, I'd be delighted.
What do you want to play, though?
We're going to go back and do a song that Elmore James recorded. It's called The 12-Year-Old Boy.
Robert Craig, Gitmo. All right, all right.
Go. Go.
I feel bad, I feel terrible. I'm just as sad as a man can be. I feel bad, I feel terrible. I'm just as sad as a man can be. I let a boy 12 years old take my baby away from me.
He used to hang around my crib till all hours of the night. Robert, that boy would hang around my crib. Yeah, till all hours of the night, yeah. I never dreamed. Him and my woman was so tight. Now wait a minute.
have did. Well, if the young boy hangs around you, you ought to do like I should have did. And you know, you send them on over to your neighbors and hope your neighbors like his. Go ahead, Kevin.
It'll never be the same. How you doing, man? It's great. We have a theme song. I'd love for you to join me in the theme. Would you do that?
That'd be right.
Put a little blues on the thing.
All right.
Let me move over here to the piano.
Okay.
All right. Man.
Oh, man.
Beautiful.